to old Dak Prescott, those old crazy Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones comes out of the combine, says he'll get a deal done. Dak is saying, oh, there's no doubt we'll get a deal done. Let me just start off with some questions to Cowboys fans in general. What do y'all think? Do you think that the Cowboys should extend Dak? Because if you and do you think the extension should be $55 to $60 million a year? Do you think that? Now here, let me throw some facts out at people. Now, Dak last year finished second in the MVP voting. He led the league in touchdown passes. Dak had a great year last year. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. But if you really just kind of dissect it up, a lot of the numbers weren't against great football teams. When you dig in, a lot of it wasn't against great football teams. But look, hey, you can't look. You play against who's in front of you. He doesn't decide the schedule. He doesn't decide what team is good and who's not. That's not what Dak Prescott is responsible for. His job is to go out there and beat whoever's in front of him. So some people are saying I'm cutting bait on Dak. You can't win. He can't win when it counts. Let me ask y'all this. Let me throw a number out there or a scenario out there and see if you guys agree. Let's just say the Cowboys say to him, hey, Dak, look, we want to extend you for another 3 years and basically make guaranteed money for 2. Y'all know how contracts work. We want to extend you for 3 years, but you got to take a pay cut, man. You can't get $55 million. Look, what we're doing right now with paying you this portion of the salary cap, Dak, it isn't working. You need more pieces around you. You need another top flight receiver. You need a better running back. You need some more offensive linemen. We need some more defensive players. What we're doing with you taking up, and I don't know the exact number, but let's just say 20% of the salary cap you're taking up. That isn't working for us. So we want you to be here and be the quarterback, but you got to take less. You got to take up 14% of the salary cap. We got to give you $40 million versus 55. Are you willing to stay? We'll extend you for 3 years if you do that. And if I'm Dak, then it comes down to, do I want to be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, and you can say, hey, market value tells me this. A market value could be nothing. And he could take the $60 million this year. But do we think, let me just ask you this. If Dak takes $60 million this year and the Cowboys say, okay, that's it, you walk, we're done with you. Do you really think anybody's going to sign up to pay Dak Prescott $60 million the following season? The answer to that is hell no. Hell no. They ain't going to do that. Nobody's going to sign up to pay Dak $60 million. And I think the Cowboys should be one of those teams that tell him the same thing. No. No, no, no. Just be smart for once. Do the right thing. And look, you might have to take it on the chin this year and pay him the $60 million. Okay. But you know what, Dak? You better win, because if you don't win, you're out. Period. End of story. And when I mean win, you better win the Super Bowl. Anything like you're going to take up this kind of money on our salary cap because we're stuck. We made a bad contract. We're stuck with you. But either you do this and you win the Super Bowl, and if you don't, you are done here in Dallas. And he will be done in Dallas because I know Cowboys fans. They will crucify. He'll have to move. He won't be able to stay in Dallas. Even if he goes and plays somewhere else and he wants to retire here, he's not going to be able to do that. I mean, I live here, so I know how Dallas fans are. You're going to be disloyal to the team and not win? Get out. Get out. And I wouldn't blame him one bit. I wouldn't blame him one bit. Dak isn't going to the Steelers. The Steelers don't want Dak. So, no, he's not going to the Steelers. Not even a little bit. Over on YouTube, Dallas Cowboy, big Dallas Cowboy fan, my man Pat Cockrell. As a Cowboys fan, no, I don't think Dak should be extended. Playoffs is what matters, and he doesn't perform well when it matters. I've seen enough to know it's time to move on. That's what a lot of people, Cowboy fans, are saying. They're like, no, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Maybe trade him. Oh my gosh, somebody over here said Dak is a top 5 quarterback. Now, I'll admit Dak played like a top 5 quarterback during the regular season this year. He did that. But I don't think they're paying Dak to be good in the regular season. I think they're paying Dak because they want him to win playoff games. I think that's why they're paying Dak. And he wasn't the reason that they lost in the playoffs. People that are saying that, no, Dak could have been playing his A game and they were going to get beat because they couldn't stop the Packers. But Dak didn't play well. He didn't play well. So he wasn't the reason they lost, but he did not play well. So we'll see. My man Darren Howard said, it all depends if Jerry really wants a championship or to fill the seats. Well, I think Jerry Jones has kind of answered that question. He's definitely more concerned about filling the seats than he is winning. I mean, we know that. I mean, he built Jerry World, and there was no reason to. And then he built it, and he just cared about, okay, you know what? I've got this big brand. We're going to fill the seats, and we're going to start making money. It is what it is, man. So, but yeah, man, I can't believe somebody would say, look, growth in me, I would call you nuts, but I'm not going to do that. But saying Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback that's an insane statement. I mean, that's being silly. I mean, I would say, that's not even being a Dallas homer. That's just being silly, but it is what it is. So, yeah, there it is. My man Matt Hasselbring over on YouTube said last time I checked, Dak didn't give up 48 points to the Packers. No, he did not. He did not. So, that's the whole thing. It's like, Dak wasn't the reason that the Cowboys lost that playoff game. He just wasn't. People that saying that he is, you're wrong. I will say that. You are dead wrong. But he didn't play well in the game. That's the thing. He didn't help himself because he didn't play well. So, had he played well, then you could have that argument. But he didn't help himself and say, hey, man, I played the best that I could play, and we still got beat. That's not what happened. So, and people saying, come on, Mike. First of all, Mike said that Dak was a top 5 quarterback. Now you're saying Dak was responsible for losing the playoff game. Which is it, brother? Which is it? You got to make up your mind. Make up your mind. Jiminy Christmas. My man David Gonzalez over on TikTok. Move on to what? Elite quarterbacks are so rare, you're gambling and throwing away 2 or 3 seasons trying to get the next guy to see if you get lucky and strike gold. Well, how many seasons do you give Dak? I mean, this is his 8th year. I mean, what do you want? What are you wanting? Are you wanting to continuously lose in the first or second round of the playoffs? Or are you trying to get past that? That's the gamble that franchises have to take. I mean, 8 years is plenty of a sample size to say whether somebody can get it done or they can't get it done. That's enough of a sample size. Now, if you're okay with just doing that, fine. So, give him the same amount of time everyone gave Peyton Manning. So, we're comparing Dak to Peyton Manning. Got it. So, you're just like RG3, comparing Russell Wilson to Peyton Manning. Lord have mercy. I get it, Cowboys fans. I understand the delusion. I'm a fan too. But we got to stop. You got to stop. So, you got to stop. So, whew. Dak's got the same numbers. You're right. Dak is as good as Peyton Manning. Just say that. That's what you're saying. Dak is just as good as Peyton Manning. We got it. We got it. We absolutely got it. You see, you guys are testing my growth. You guys are testing my growth over on TikTok. I've tried to be nice. I don't like to call people delusional. Y'all know that I've grown over the last 2 days. I've tried to show growth. Educate, not humiliate. Educate, not humiliate. So, Dwight, don't you start. Don't you start. I guess I did say testing my growth. Pause. Lord have mercy. Dak is as good as Eli. I think he's better than Eli, except not in the playoffs. He's not. If you get Eli in the playoffs, Eli was really good. At least 2 of those playoffs. He was good. Dak's never been that good in a playoff game, ever. Ever. So, I don't think Eli was even a good quarterback. I don't. But when they got to the playoffs, in those 2 playoff runs, who was better? I mean, we call Tom Brady the GOAT. He outplayed Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls. Twice. Now, the defense helped him. Don't get me wrong. Especially in that first one. The defense helped him. But who made the plays to win the game? Is Eli Manning, man. We got to stop. But do I think Dak is better than Eli? Absolutely. Because, I'm a person, I don't think Eli was that good. I don't think Eli was that good at all. But he did win playoff games when he needed to. Dak has never done that. Ever. So, Dak has more talent than Eli. Absolutely. But he's just not better. So, just not better. So, and Eli's going to make, this is what we're talking about, Hall of Fame. Eli's going to get into the Hall of Fame. Does anybody really believe that Eli Manning is a Hall of Fame football player? I mean, isn't Phillip Rivers better than Eli Manning? If you put Phillip Rivers on those Giants teams, don't you think that they're better? I mean, I'm just asking because I think they are. I think Phillip Rivers, who again never won anything, but I think Phillip Rivers is just as good. I think he's better than Eli Manning. And Eli is going to the Hall of Fame, bro. You got to stop. If nothing else, his name is Eli Manning, and he won 2 Super Bowls. Based on that, he's getting in the Hall of Fame. Will it be first ballot? Probably not. But Eli Manning is getting into the Hall of Fame. Stop the nonsense. Lord have mercy. That's happening. My man Pearland, Jerry deserves an award for having a franchise generating the most revenue without winning anything in 30 years. Say that again for the people in the back, my man. Jerry Jones is the NFL czar of owners. Has tricked a fan base into continuously supporting them, continuously showing up, buying merchandise, and has turned them into the most valuable franchise, and they haven't even made a championship game since 1995. Whew! 30 years of mediocrity. And yet, people still keep going. They line up around the corner for season tickets to the Cowboys. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, I like Dak. I don't dislike Dak. I just think he has trouble in big games. That's what I think. I think he's got problems in big games. So, and it's time to start rebuilding. Here's the thing. As a Cowboys fan, and I want y'all to answer this, Cowboys fans. If the Cowboys just said, you know what, we need to rebuild. We're going to be down for a couple of seasons. And when I mean down, they're going to be bad. Might win 5-6 games. But we're going to rebuild this thing, and we're going to build it up to be good again. Would y'all be okay with that? Would y'all be okay with that? So, that's interesting. Now, I'm looking at people over on TikTok. They're saying Dak wasn't the reason they lost in the playoff game. Well, yeah, we know that, brother. I'm on that. I'm on that train. Ooh, here's a good point. I've been saying this and people get on my head. Parsons disappears in crunch time. Say it again. How many Cowboys fans were out there saying Micah Parsons is the next Lawrence Taylor? He's just as good as Lawrence Taylor. Did you ever see Lawrence Taylor disappear in a football game? No. Did you ever see teams just say, you know what? The best way to beat Lawrence Taylor is we're going to line up and run the ball right at him. Did you ever see anybody doing that? No. But Micah Parsons, they just say, yeah, he can run around us. He's an outstanding football player, and he is. But the best way to neutralize him, we're just going to run the football right at him. Right at him. And then what's he going to do? He does nothing. He tries to run around blocks. That doesn't work in the National Football League. And too many times you see Micah Parsons, like in the playoff game, he had a tackle and a pressure. That was it. A tackle and a pressure. Nothing more, nothing less. So I just, and then he comes out and he does all this talking in the offseason. Y'all saw those interviews with Stephen A. I'm like, bro, just be quiet. You got whipped. You didn't show up. I noticed he didn't say that he didn't show up either. He just said it was the team. Well, the team, guys were complaining and making excuses. Instead, he should have just said, I played bad. I played bad. I didn't help. I've got to do a better job. That's what leaders do. He didn't do that. Instead, it was, well, the team said that they were tired. And basically, he's blaming DeMarcus Lawrence, who, again, I don't know why DeMarcus Lawrence came out and said guys were tired. I'm like, it's the playoffs. Everybody's tired. It's the end of the season. But what are you talking about? Whew. Crazy. Yeah. No, Micah Parsons said it was the defense's fault. That the defense, guys had agendas. They were saying that they were tired. Micah Parsons should have just come out and said, I didn't do enough. Why not start there? Because if they would have pressed him and just said, well, Micah, how did you do in the playoff game? Then he would have been mad, saying you're disrespecting me. You never played the game, so you can't talk to me. You can't ask questions. You don't know what you're talking about. That's exactly what he would have said. Versus, hey, that was actually the truth, Micah. You didn't show up in the playoff game. Your defense played lousy, and you played lousy right along with it. You were bad. He could have just said that, but he didn't. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. The whole team played lousy. He's part of the team. I get it. Cowboys got to do better. I don't know what Dak's going to do. I don't know. Are they going to give him the new deal? I'm leaning, yeah, they will. But if they pay Dak $60 million, I'm literally going to laugh. I'm just going to laugh.